Okay, everybody, you are not allowed to speak in any other language other than Dutch or English. Yeah, you can speak Pali if you want. Yeah, only Pali, Dutch, and English. So, I know quite a few people. You okay, Julia?
Sanskrit also allowed.
Sanskrit is allowed, yeah. Only Sanskrit scholars are allowed to speak in Sanskrit. Yeah. And Keith can speak, Japanese, Chinese. So do you speak Chinese or Japanese, Keith?
A very small amount of Mandarin.
Oh, wow.
But that's sort of forgotten. I got to a point where I could survive in Mandarin when I went to train in China.
Yeah.
But it fades if you don't use it.
I know. That's the problem with languages.
So and that's now a long time ago. So it's very faded.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, folks, welcome to our Pali course. I know few people are having some retreats and so on. So we'll make a start, and whoever join later will do so. Yeah. Good to see you all. Are you all well? Yeah, you're looking well, all of you. Okay, so let's make a start. Who is going to do the Vandana today? You know Vandana? Yeah. So veneration to the Noble Triple Gem. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Recollection of the Noble Triple Gem. Yeah. So who is going to do that today?
Is that what I know as the Namo Tassa?
Yeah.
Well, if you're short of volunteers, I'll do it. But I would have thought these monks could remember it by now.
Yeah. No, we'll ask Venerable Dhammarathana to do it in chanting style. Bhante?
All
Yeah.
are welcome to join our Pali course. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So maybe we can ask Sumedha to chant the Itipiso.
Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijjācarane sampanno sughato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussanang buddho bhagavati.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. Very good. You did really, really well. Except for one place. It's called Purisa Dhammasarathi. Usually a lot of people actually pronounce the aspiration here. Like Dhamma.
Right?
It is wrong. It is Purisa Dhamma. Dhamma is, because it's the taming of the Purisas, not Dhamma. The aspirated one has a different meaning. Now this is Purisa Dhamma. There's no H here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Purisa Dhamma. Dhamma is a Dhammane. Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. Yeah? So, pronunciation, that is really, really important. Because if you get the pronunciation wrong, you get the meaning wrong. Yeah? Very good. Okay. So Dhammanusati, who is doing Swakkhatu?
I'm always willing to give it a go.
Okay, yeah, please do, Lucien. Yeah.
Let me read it quickly first before I...
Yeah.
All right. Svakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Sandithiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Upanayiko Pachattang Veditabo Vinyuhiti.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. Well done. Well done. Excellent. So now come to the recollection of the Sangha. 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 Who is doing Sangha? Maybe one of the ladies.
What is the longest?
I can try.
That is the longest. That's not fair. I know, yeah. But you can do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can chant it because it's so many.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's your rhythm.
Okay, I will try. So, Supachipano Bhagavato Savaka Sango Uju Patipano Bhagavato Savaka Sango Nya.
Yeah. Nyaya. Nyaya.
Nyaya. Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samiti Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yad Chatari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Likaral Nyo
Yeah.
Anutarang Punya Ketang Lokasati.
Very good. Excellent. So, Savaka Sangho. Savaka. Yeah. So, Savaka Sangho. Now, maybe Bhante Dhammarathana can show us some sort of a nice rhythm for this. Would you?
Can I ask something about it?
Yes, please. Yeah, yeah.
I see the N with a dot above, and in the transliterations we used so far, we haven't used that one. Is that equal to the M with a dot below, or?
Yeah, it is. It is actually N is the nasal. It's like a crown nasal. Then N in Pali has also two types of N. So the regular N, which is kind of which is pronounced at the teeth ridge. I mean, just above the teeth ridge, and the other one is slightly towards the crown. Na versus na. So yeah. So that is.
I did like I know now it's probably you cannot see, but like different types of N and
yeah.
What do you...
So again, if you sort of visualize it from the yeah, from the crown. I mean, like, basically from the back. So there are back sounds, middle ones and the front. For example, I say that you have th as a almost like dental, close to the teeth ridge, and then there's a t is retroflex, which is called retroflex. So the n has also the same, one is towards the middle of the palate. Yeah.
So is it equal to what they use in a new course in reading Pali, the N with a dot below? Because they don't use the N with a dot above in this book.
Yeah, the dot below. The dot below is that I would say retroflex N.
Yeah. So the dot N with a dot above is equal to the N with a dot below.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some, actually very, those are called allophonic, because there are some sounds which are phonemic. So basically phonemics are giving meaning difference, like say the and the. I said Purisa Dhamma, Purisa Dhamma. No, Dhamma and Dhamma. So long as it is not changing the meaning, but the pronunciation, there what really matters is the pronunciation. There's no meaning change. Do you get my point? It's a kind of a very subtle linguistic. Say the sounds can vary according to where those sounds occur. If it is before kind of a joint consonant, you know, the sound really varies. But if it is not giving a meaning change, that's not phonemic. There is this concept of phonemic versus allophonic. Allophonic is, I mean, sounds change according to where they occur, but the change matters when it leads to a meaning change. I'll discuss it, you know, if you're interested to know more about it. Yeah, so Bhanthe, would you like to show us kind of a traditional way of saying Supatipanno?
Okay. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samichi patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang chattare puresa yogani atta puresa pungala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyakhentang lokasati.
Thank you, Bhante. That's lovely. Yes. So the nasal, I mean, nasal occurs in the, you know, N sound. N sound can occur in different places. Now, the one with the dot above, it is sort of a half nasal. So you don't pronounce the n, it's like a zero, you know, sound. And also the same sound is represented as M, you know, dot below. Sometimes people write it, you know, M, you know, a dot below. It's the same thing. Whereas the N and N, ne versus dot below N, it's a positional, you know, positional difference. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, everybody, for the recollection. And I'm assuming that.
May I?
Yeah. Okay.
May I ask something? May I ask
Please.
something?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the word Asa or Aso.
Asa. Yeah.
Asa. It's also in the Dhammapada verse 5.
Yeah.
The last line. It's Eso Dhammo Sanantano, but sometimes it's Asa Dhamma Sanantano. So
well spotted.
Are they the same words, or what is it? I don't know.
It is the same word.
It is.
That's actually a well spotted, really good comment. You know, same word, just to shorten the meter. It's called Eso Dhammo Sanantano becomes Esa Dhammo Sanantano. It's almost like a conjunction. Yeah. So Eso and Esa, it is the same word. What is the meaning of that? Esa. This, exactly. Yeah. So this, and in Pali, you know, just to either for the meter or depending on where it occurs, it could be Eso or Esa. Esa Dhammo Sanatana. Where it is Eso, Esa is the shortened version of Eso. Good.
but the same line, so the eso or the esa, dhammo sanantano, it's on the one page with esa, and on the other page it's eso, dhammo sanantano. So
well, actually, you know, because for the meter, you know, nahi verena verani sammanti dhakudachanang averena cha sammanti esa dhammo sanantano. So when you say eso dhammo sanantano, the meter, it violates the meter. So therefore it is pronounced as esa dhammo sanantano. But actual word there is es. Yeah.
So you're writing esa when you write it in Devanagari, for example.
Yeah.
Then you write esa.
No. You can do write it as esa. Yeah, you write esa.
You mean with a.
Actually, this is a sound called, actually it is a short a, not even a sa. It is called a sa. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me how I get to stop share. So let me just get my pen. Yeah. Now this is, you know, a like that. It gives you a sound, and you know the pronunciation. This is called schwa. It is like a shortened a. This is kind of a regular a. This is schwa. And this is how when you say es, you pronounce it as schwa, not a sa. Now this is wrong. Yeah. So a sa. Yeah. This is pronounced like a sound, middle esa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, now in some language, I mean in Pali, this is not. Now I talked about phonemic. Sorry. Versus allophonic. I mean, this is allophonic. Now, phonemic is a kind of a meaning changing sounds that actually gives you two. Now, see, a so, and if it gives you a separate meaning, is that becomes phonemic. But Pali doesn't have that. Yeah. In Pali, esa and I mean eso are allophonic, therefore. Yeah. You get my point?
Maybe, but they are interchangeable. How do you say? You can change.
Yeah.
So they're both right. Okay.
Exactly. They're both right. And they don't give a meaning change. So the meaning change is like when it gives say like say Dhamma. Now we say Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho. And now Purisa Dhamma.
Okay.
Now that is different from Dhamma.
Yes.
Yeah. So aspiration here is meaning changing. So therefore, this is called phonemic.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But that esa and eso are not phonemic, but allophonic. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay, folks. I am. Oh, Manoj is here as well. Welcome, Manoj. Welcome, everybody. Now, today is our 7th day. So you have even lasted 7 days in your Pali study, which is good news. So some of you have actually worked very hard. I see, you know, you're doing your homework and really taking it seriously. Now, you know, it is, you know, as I said, the more time you put in for reading and exercises, you will actually get a, hang of it. One good thing about, Pali, because it's not a growing language, it's kind of a classical language. It is, you could do a really good self-study. Yeah. So don't ever, hesitate to just read a sutra. Just go right into a, reading a sutra. We are going to do a sutta reading today as well. I mean, last day, remember, we did read Dhammacakka, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which is amazing. So we get the direct access to the Buddha's words and, what the Buddha was talking about. And we are now able to, read some of his own, sutras in Pali. So now, do you have any questions about any of those readings, and do you find it bit hard? What is your what's your kind of no actually in these lessons we pay a lot of attention to the Dhamma and less attention to the grammar and so on. So perhaps you might think are we really learning Pali? Of course, you can I mean Pali, we can as I said, we can actually do a lot of good self-study. That's why I'm letting you take your own time and learn as much of the Pali grammar as you can. Okay, so we read, remember, eightfold, we are now very familiar with the Eightfold Noble Path. So the content of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, as you know, is you can straight away go evam me sutang ekang samayang bhagava. Thus have I heard one time the Bhagava, the Blessed One, Varanasiyang viharati isipatane migadaye tatrako bhagava panchavagye bhikkhu amante se. So to address the 5 ascetics, dve me bhikkhave anta pabbajitena nasevitabba. Monks, there are these 2 extremes that a pabbajita should not associate with. So pabbajita, now that's another word, perhaps, pabbajita. Pabbajita, usually pabbajja is like, entering the order is also called pabbajja. But the pabbajita, now some of these words can be used generically in a sort of a broader way rather than specific meaning. So pabbajita is a one who is ordained sort of thing in normal context, but actually actual meaning of vra. Now this is vra is actually vaja. Vaja is to move. One who gone forth. One who has gone forth. One who actually made that decision to enter the sasana. Yeah, pabbajita nasevitabba. Yeah, so now when you read, you can also develop a little bit of sense of a broader meaning. Okay. Did somebody ask any question? Keep your mics muted if you're not talking. If you're talking, just put your hand up, or just feel free to disturb me anytime. Okay. So pabbajita, Now it is like Sangha. Now, usually the word Sangha, in the monastic settings, they interpret it as the monastic community of lay men and women. However, Sangha has this general meaning, which is the community, whole community, fourfold. We call them fourfold Sangha. Yeah. So Katame Dve, which two, Yochayang Kame Sukama Sukallikanu Yogo, Kame Sukama Sukallika, indulging in sense pleasures, Hino Gammo Pothujaniko Anario Anatha Sanghito. Now the Kama Sukallikanu Yoga, indulging in sense pleasures, is discussed as, by 5 words. Hino. Hina. What's Hina?
Like low, smaller.
Yeah, exactly. What is the opposite of Hina?
Maha.
Ah, very good. Impressive. Maha, Mahanta, Maha, very good. So Hina, always when you actually find a word, try to find the opposite as well. Hino. Gammo. What's Gamma? It has painful.
Yes, I said painful.
No, it comes from kind of undeveloped. Like those days people refer to like Gamma. Gamma is the undeveloped, primitive. Like village like. Gamma. Sorry.
Uncivilized.
Yeah, right. Exactly. In those days, people thought the village people are uncivilized, but nowadays it's the opposite.
It's funny. Like pagan means a village idiot in Latin.
Oh, really?
Paganus.
Oh, okay. So Gamma, Gram, in Sanskrit, it's called Gramya. Gram is kind of undeveloped, primitive, village-like, like Pothujjana. Now again, another word, Pothujjana. Now, Puthajjana is the base word here. And when you actually put a compound, Ika, Puthajjana Ika becomes Pothujjanika. Now, Puthajjana is a word that is actually quite often used, Puthajjana. Or Puthujjana, sorry, Puthujjana. That is like a worldling, common person, is called Asutava Puthujjana. Mostly the word that is used in Pali is Asutava, like one who has not heard the Dhamma. It's called Asutava, Asrutavat, Asutava Puthujjana. So this is like Pothujjaniko. This indulging in sense pleasures is low, very primitive, Pothujjanika, worldling. Anario, you know that word, Anario. What is your,
I think it's ignoble, so like a denial of noble.
Yeah, ignoble, or, actually like Arya, opposite of Arya, isn't it? Yeah, Arya and Anarya. So now that's a big word, because Arya is a very big word in Pali and in the Dhamma. Yeah, Anatha Sanghito. Again, where here it's the opposite, but it's Anatha Sanghita.
Unbeneficial?
Yeah, exactly. Disadvantageous or unbeneficial. Yochayang Attakila Matanu Yogo. Now the Attakila Matanu Yoga is, that's the opposite of Kama Sukallikanu Yoga. So one who is actually indulging in self-mortification. Yeah. So atta, oneself. Kilamati. Kilamati is like one who is, we say, there's a kind of an expression, is it hurt in the flesh? Atta kila mata, who's actually very, very austere in the practice, yeah? Atta kila mata anuyoga. Yoja ayang atta kila mata anuyogo dukkho. Now that is actually, qualified by 3 words as opposed to 5, Kamsukha Likana Yoga. This is called dukkho. Now it's painful. Anaryo anatta sanghito. Ete te ko bhikkhave ubho ante anupagam. One who is not falling into these 2 extremes. Majjhima patipada. Now that's a word we spend a lot of time on. Majjhima patipada, middle path. Yeah, middle way. Tathagatena abhisambuddha. Okay, abhisambudh. Again, now Buddh, the word Buddh you all know. Buddh is bodhane. Bodhane is to awaken. Yeah. Realize, awaken. Yeah. Tathagatena abhi again is a prefix. Is to say highly awaken. Now that is again qualified. I mean, now you can see the qualifiers here. Chakkukarani, Jnanakarani, Upasamaya, Abhinyaya, Sambodhaya, Nibbanaya, Sangvatati. Now that middle path is Chakkukarani. It's actually gives the eye. Jnanakarani gives the knowledge. Upasamaya, it tranquilizes. Abhinyaya leads to higher knowledge. Sambodhaya, Nibbanaya, realization. Sangvatati. Sangvatati is like pole, so course 2. And then there's a description of Katamadisa.
May I ask something?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
May I ask something? Well, I was thinking about the term Yata Buddha Dasa.
Jnana Dasana.
Well, I thought that it's kind of knowing and seeing knowing and seeing the things as they are, or something like that. Isn't it?
No, I will have to give you
I thought maybe Chakkukarani and that
yeah.
the other word.
No, yeah.
And knowing, so I thought
yeah. The problem is like, I can even write on this. Yeah, now see yatha bhuta. Bhuta is like, like that which came into being. Bhavati, it comes from bhava, bhu, yatha. Yatha is the way, which way it came into being. So usually a lot of people interpret this as yatha bhuta jnana dasana as as they are. Yeah, as they are, but not as they are, because if it is as they are, we are seeing things as they are. But I think a better translation would be as they came into being. Yeah. Came into being. How they came into being. Now that reminds you of Paticca Samuppada. So it is only one who sees the Paticcasamuppada who understands how things come into being, as opposed to how these things are. No, how things are is like Sasada Ditti. Sasada is as existentialist or substantialist.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's the difference. Okay. So
yes, but I meant oh, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yatha Bhuta Jnanadasana. Exactly. Now Chakkukaran. Now that is the one. Chakkukaran is, it gives you the Dhamma eye to see, knowledge to see, and higher awakening, and etc. etc. So that is the nature of the. Yatha Bhuta Jnanadasana is a very profound word, but it is mostly misunderstood or misconstrued, I should say. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah. Thank you.
yeah, ayameva aryo attangiko maggo. Ayang eva, this very aryo attangiko maggo, Aryan Eightfold Noble Path. And there's a sayatidam, which and then this gives samma ditti, samma sankappo, samma vacha, kammantu, ajivu, vayamo, samma sati, samma samadhi. Ayankosa bhikkave majjima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha. And then, this was realized by the Tathagata. So idankopana bhikkave, and then and say idankopana bhikkave dukkhang arya satya. Now the Buddha gives Four Noble Truths. And the Four Noble Truths are jati api dukkha, jarapi dukkha, jati, which is translated as birth, jara, vyadipi, vyadi and vyadi, same thing. So jara means decay, vyadi is disease. Yeah, vyadi. Yeah, so birth, disease, decay, disease, maranampi dukkhang. Yeah, death. Apyehi sampayogo, associating with the appiya. Appiya means peer. Peer is priya. Priya means one who is pleasant. Appiya is the unpleasant. Apyehi sampayogo, association with the unlike, unwanted. Piyehi vipayogo, disassociation or separation from the peer. Yampi ichang nalabati, whatever is, icha means, the one which you like. Yang api ichang nalabati, tang api dukkhang. Sankitena, in short, panchupadana khanda dukkha. 5 clinging aggregates, suffering. Idankopana bhikkave dukkhang arya satya. Now that is the dukkha arya satya. Yayan tanha pono bhavika. Now that's again a description of the tanha, which is also translated as thirst, craving, thirst, pono bhavika. One which actually gives punabhava, pono bhava ika. Again, whenever you have the compound ika, the word gets expanded. Puna bhava ika because pono bhavika, like po tujanika. Nandi raga sahagata, Nandi raga sahagata. Now that's the quality of this tanha, because it gives Nandi, raga, liking, attachment, wherever, abhinandini, get attached. Sayatidam kamatanha, bhavatanha, vibhavatanha. Now the three types of tanhas. Yeah. So yo tasayeva tanhaya asesa viraga nirodho. Asesa viraga nirodho. Now, non-attachment, nirodha, and chaga. Chaga is letting go. Chago, patinisagga, complete separation from mutti, leaving it, analayo, yeah, non-attachment. Idanko panabhikkhave dukkha nirodhang arya, nirodhagamini patipadarya satcha. So anyway, I let you enjoy, reading, and don't, just because the words are, long, don't think it is, they're really difficult. They're very, when you get into the rhythm, you meet, you can, separate the words and, read and read. Any question from the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta? I'm just sort of giving you a little heads up, start up. But you could read this. When this whole sutta was done, one person actually got what the Buddha was talking about out of the 5. Yeah. So, and now who's that person who understood the message? Kondanya. Yeah, exactly. Kondanya. Now that's the smart guy who actually, when Prince Siddhartha was born, with one finger, he said, this guy is going to be the one, Buddha. So that Kondanya was very sharp enough, and he understood the message. And then the Buddha was celebrating it. Udanang udanesi. He just uttered these celebrating words. Udana. You know what Udana is. Kind of a, celebrated. Anyasi vata, definitely now Kondanya got it. Anyasi vata. Vata is indeed, yeah. Anyasi, now you know. Kondanya. Anyasi vata bho kondanyo. Anyasi vata bho kondanyo. Yeah. So he said, wow, Kondanya, you got it, didn't you? So, and then his, his understanding also was discussed, what sort of, knowledge he attained. So that's actually Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Do you like the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta?
Yes, I love to listen when monks are chanting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I found a long version. It has a nice rhythm.
Very good. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Now that's the thing about Dhammacakka, because when the Buddha was giving this, sentient beings, from 31 realms. It was not just 5 ascetics, only 5 ascetics from the human realm, but there were Brahmas, there were Devas, there were, others who were listening. And perhaps you must have been listening to it also from somewhere. Yeah. So, yeah, from the, but sadly the Buddha never said Anyasi vata bho, Keith or something. He didn't use the word to refer to us. but you may have been listening as well. So now that's the.
I think I know why.
Why?
I'm just going to make a lame joke, but that's also my role. I think he didn't do that because he didn't know how to conjugate our names. Because I was just watching at this condaño, condaña, condañasa, but how to do that with Keith, that's hopeless. So.
Absolutely. No. I think his religious name is different. Fuso. He's Fuso. It's like Condaño. Anyasi watabo Fuso. Yeah. So I think so. I think this is why we may have being attuned to listen to these teachings in our sansaric journey, but it has not really what's the word, connected with our wisdom yet. Yeah, but the realization. Now, when then the Buddha decided to give a second sermon, that's the one we were going to discuss today. Yeah, before we start, that is called Anatta Lakkana. Anatta Lakkana. It's an amazing sutta again. So because it deals with several teachings. Anatta Lakkana. Now, I think Michal, he wanted us to discuss khandhas. Khandhas, 5 khandhas, and and the 3 characteristics of existence. And all of that is actually discussed in this sutta. So only when Kondaña heard this one, he completed his realization. So therefore, this must be really profound. It's one of the most profound sutras. It's lot to digest, but amazing sutta. Have you heard this before? Anatta Lakkana Sutta. Anatta. Now, what's anatta?
No self.
No self, yeah. Or non-self, yeah. Na atta, anatta, na atta lakkana. Now the characteristics of no self or non-self, characteristic of non-self. Actually, it is better to write as non-self, rather than no self. When you say no self, it creates a vacuum. Yeah, Anatta Lakkana Sutta, which is a profound sutta. Before we start, do you have any other questions about anything, Dhamma, or anything that we discussed so far? We are into the 7th day. Anything that bothers you, the way we run this marathon, kind of, jumping in the deepest end. But no, I think what would be really good is for a Pali course to bring together, perhaps, this is what I'm contemplating now, like the key Buddhist concepts. Some, X number of sutras are put together to cover the, all the key Buddhist teachings. So now that would be some work to do. Perhaps, we can do it together. Yeah. So
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I was wondering about Alavaka Sutta. I don't know if I say it right. Alavaka? Alavaka Sutta?
Alavaka Sutta.
Oh, Alavaka. Oh, okay. You talked about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there was it was about 3 times the Buddha obeyed, and the 4th time he did something else.
Yeah.
I think I remember, but you said something about the 3 times that it was a very important number.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
In more sort of action. So I was wondering, could you tell more about that? About the 3 times?
Uh-huh.
The importance of the 3 times?
Okay. What is the important? That's a good question again. Why is it important 3 times? I mean, sometimes some questions, when you ask the Buddha, he doesn't answer you, and I mean, if you bug him 3 times, and then he will say something. So 3 times, I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, now these democratic parliaments and other places also, they have this 3 times, they read something 3 times, or they, agree on 3 times, blah, blah. But I think, I don't know whether it comes from that tradition, but I don't know the real significance of that. But what I can say is, when the Buddha was asked 3 times, he would respond. I mean, even if it is not his liking to say something. So yeah, 3. I mean, what is the significance of 3? Any thoughts? Anything that you can think of? Yeah. Not anything other than, I mean, when the Buddha said to Alavaka, I think that was 3. After the 3rd time, he was very firm, so he refused to get out. Yeah, there are other in the Pali canon. There are quite a few situations, but I'm not 100% sure that why 3 times, why not 7 times, but yeah. So it could be, I mean, but it is the case in the Tripitaka, quite a few references to 3.
So maybe it has some psychological thing also, no? Because psychological matter may first Buddha, that means obey to that when he go and like that 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah.
Then he, maybe according to the sutta, Aloka came with angry mood. Then he was quite calmed down. After that, he started preaching them and even question answer like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that the psychological element is there, definitely. But the question is, why 3 times? Why not 4? 4 noble truth. I mean, there's an interesting question the Buddha asked.
Aren't there like 3 truths about existence? I know this is only 3, I remember.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 3 characteristics of existence. Maybe. See, one thing I can think of is the Samanera, the novice monk who attained Arahant. The Buddha asked, "What is 1?" And he gives he gives the answer. And what is 2? And what is 3? Tisso Vedana. He said 3 sensations, 3 Vedana. Yeah, 3 Vedanas. So now he says, what is 1, what's 2, what's 3, what's 4? You know, he goes up to 10. So there are actually most important things are highlighted in those, Samanera Panya is called questions of Samanera. Yeah, you know, if, yeah, you know, they are what is it like? Not the 3 characteristics of existence or not triple gem, but it says Tisso Vedana, 3 feelings, sensations. Yeah. Now, what are the 3 feelings, 3 sensations? Yeah, the pleasant, sukha. Yeah, pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. Correct. Yeah. So, okay. Did you say something?
So I understand that there's no one answer to the question of the 3 times. That's the conclusion.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank
3.
you.
Yeah. I think Lucian wanted to ask something, and are you there? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we are. You're making all the notes in this Google document, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to write some sutras in the Google document. I mean, I still have the Google. I mean, what I do is still some of the character. You know, these diacritics I can't find properly. So I'm still working on this and then putting that in the Google document. Yeah, you can, you know, whatever I write here, I, export to Google. Yeah.
So my question is, how do we know each week which parts of the document have been changed by you?
You can see it actually.
Oh, in history, you mean, or something?
Yeah, like
that's
there are
smart.
like a people,
okay.
And you click like last change this time, and you see it. But yeah, I didn't know it. So before I had to like compare what's new, what's old. But now it's easy.
I mean, do you get a notification when I do something there?
No, but if you enter the document, there are like people that have access to it, and if you did something, you leave the comment, and you can see the changes.
Sure. No,
So
I couldn't do
a
whole lot.
Sutta. No.
Yeah, this weekend. I mean, usually I do some work on the weekend because we were doing some chaplaincy training. I didn't have much time for this weekend. So, but I'll be, you know, everything we discuss here, I will put them as, notes if you want to read the details. Okay. Yeah. Okay, folks, are we good to go? Pretty much. Okay. Now, this is Samyutta Nikaya 2259. Actually, Samyutta Nikaya 3rd volume, Anatta Lakkana Sutta, which is very profound teaching. I mean, anybody who doesn't understand the non-self in Buddhism doesn't have a clue about Buddhism. Okay. Now, but if you don't know the right meaning of anatta, like a lot of people say no self, there is no small self, but there is a big self, you know, blah, blah, blah. All that, those concepts are because people don't understand anatta. Now let's today try to understand anatta. Yeah. Now, okay, again, the sutta starts with Evang me sutam. What does that mean?
Thus I have heard.
Yeah, yeah, that's the Ananda's report. reporting. Ekang samayang bhagava. Now it's the same location, same place, very easy. Varanasiyang viharati isipatane migadai. How many of you have visited the place? Oh, very good. Excellent. I thought Keith went there as well. Did you? Didn't you? Okay. Yeah, we'll make a tour then when you finish the Pali lessons. Wouldn't that be nice to go there and read this in Pali and understand it and then get fully awakened? Yeah. Varanasiyam virati isipatane migadai. What's migadai? Miga. What is miga?
Deer.
Deer. Yes. Migadai. It's a sanctuary, deer park. Yeah. Tatra ko bhagava panchavagye bhikkhu amantesi. So there the Buddha addressed the 5 ascetics. Yeah. Bhikkhavoti and Bhadante ti. So and the bhikkhu said Bhadante ti, Venerable Sir, ti bhikkhu bhagavato pachasosum. Pachasosum means replied. Pachasosum. Bhagava etadavocha. The Blessed One said thus. Now listen very carefully. This is very, very important. Okay. Rupang bhikkhave anatta. Full stop. Okay. Rupang bhikkhave anatta. Rupancha hidang bhikkhave atta abhavissa. Naidang rupang abadhaya sangvatteya. Labheta cha rupe. Evam me rupang hotu, evam me rupang ma ahositi. Yasmacha ko bhikkhave rupang anatta. Tasma rupang abadhaya sangvattati. And some of you really may understand some words here. Okay, now let's crack on this sentence. Rupang bhikkhave anatta. What does that mean? Rupang bhikkhave anatta.
Like form of the monk is not self. Oh no, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Form.
No. Bhikkhave is in the vocative, so it's not of the monk.
Yeah, it is. It's a vocative. Bhikkhave always, is a vocative, addressive. Yeah. It's an addressive case. Now, okay. Now let's actually analyze this a little bit. Usually it is translated, form is not mine. Yeah.
But
does that
say like,
yeah?
Form, like for monks is not self. Like the form.
Yeah. No, it is now Rupa. Now here the main let's get right. Okay, I think I can write here. Yeah. Form. Now form. Rupa. Now what are the Rupas? What is Rupa?
Is it like a group or a body?
Sorry?
Like a body or group? I don't know. Sometimes there was like a group also. I don't know.
No, there are actually 4 types of rupas. Rupa, forms. Now, usually the word rupa, form, what goes in our mind is anything that is visual. But it can be actually, it is visual, auditory, yeah, visual, auditory, and then what is the third one? All the six senses.
Yes,
Eye, ear, nose, smell. Yeah.
I don't know, like taste.
Yeah. Touch, taste, and mental objects or mind object. Okay. Now when you say form, all these actually come into being. Okay. So therefore, it is connected to your eye, your ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. All the six forms. So there is actually, it's called Rupa, Saddha Rupa. Scale, Rupa. This is called Saddha Rupa, and this is called Gandha Rupa, and this is Potabo, Potab, it is called Potab Rupa, and this is Rasa Rupa, and the last one is mind, Dhamma Rupa. Yeah. So the rupas are of all six types. Yeah. So now these rupas, the Buddha says, Rupang Bhikkhave Anatta. Form means non-self. And I'm actually now showing you an English, translation problem here. Usually when you translate, you say form is, but that is not mine. Yeah. So that means you accept there is a form, but that form is not mine. So what it means is you are taking yourself out of this equation. Or you take the form out of the equation. Yeah. So you can say, form is not mine can be understood in two different ways. And both, and that is not actually what the Buddha meant. And this is why we don't understand that the concept of anatta. So what is the right way to understand anatta? Any thoughts?
So you have to know first like the 5 aggregates and that you are not them. Like not to identify, like when you like take off them, all of them, and then there is no self. So he just, and also you cannot subscribe to the existence. So he couldn't, Buddha couldn't find the self in these 5 aggregates.
Yeah. Now that, yeah. So now let's actually go back to the sutta again. And this is why, I mean, one has to really lend an ear very carefully to understand what he exactly says here. He says, Rupang bhikkhave anatta, rupancha hi idang bhikkhave atta. if the form to be atta, monks, atta abhavisa, naidang rupang abadaya sangvatteya. Form, what is abad? Abad. Anyone?
Deceased or broken?
Yeah, abad. Abad is kind of, you know, I mean, it has a collective meaning. Badha, abadhaya, you know, like this is, you know, is not subject, is subject to disease or subject to decay, it is subject to blah, blah, blah. And that whole range is also meant here. Abadhaya sangvattati. And then he says, labheta cha rupe evam me rupang hoti. Now you can command here. It says you can command if the form were to be atta, you can command evam me rupang hotu. Let my form be thus. Evam me rupang ma ahosi. You know, let my form be not like this. Yeah. So yasma chako bhikkave rupang anatta tasma rupang abadaya sangvattati. You know, well, basically abada here means you know, beyond your control. You know, whatever happens to the form, you have no control over it. Now, remember here, that is also true of not just the Rupa, but Sabda Rupa, Gandha Rupa, Rasa Rupa, all the Rupas. You have no control over any of these forms. Now you are a victim of your Rupa.
Yeah, I think it's especially funny because people always think that they control the thoughts
Exactly.
that they think, but then I'm meditating for a long time, like,
yeah.
And then I could ask, like, but can you stop thinking for like 30 seconds? And that's not possible. So the thoughts are always coming, but where's
Exactly.
the control?
Very good. Excellent. Yeah. So see how vulnerable, and you know, we are really victims. I mean, there's another really beautiful sutta called Kajjaniya. Kajjaniya. You know, you are eaten by the forms. Kajjati. You know, Kajjaniya Sutta. Yeah, it's a very profound sutta. And I mean, there are actually two very important suttas connected to Rupa. If you want to understand the full gamut of Rupa, you have to read Kajjaniya Sutta and Pena Pindupama Sutta. Yeah, I'll put.
Can you please call the how do you say the number?
Yeah. I'll put those. Yeah, I'll making. Yeah. It is actually all Samyutta Nikaya 3. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, if you get Samyutta Nikaya, all the sutras are in the Khandaka Vagga, Samyutta Nikaya 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And is there something to be eaten?
Sorry?
Because you said that we are eaten by those things.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to be eaten. I mean,
nothing for you to eat. Yeah. You think you are eating, but before you eat, the forms eat you.
No. You meant like those afflictions are.
Oh, nothing to be eaten.
Yeah. No self to, like, I mean, nothing to be, nothing happens after all. We just suffer, but it's not us really, you know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No.
Hanko etarahi rupena kajjan.
Very good. That's a really profound statement. Ahanko etarahi rupena kajjan. You know, rupena kajjami. So I am being eaten by the form, and you think you are actually enjoying those, but every time, you know, with this, you get eaten. Yeah. So now see, that is how powerful it is. Anyway, the definition of rupa is also very interesting. What is the definition of rupa? It's called rupati. Rupati iti ko bhikkhave tasma rupang ti vujjati. So it is the rupati. Now that's a very key word, rupati. Rupati. You know, it is hard to translate, but what it is, you know, now let me give you an example. Like Rupana is like when you watch movies, you watch actually the end product of an action, right? But that action comes into being because of a series of flashbacks, like say nearly about 1,000, you know, like say, you know, for 1 minute it runs about say, you know, 20 flashbacks, gives you like, you know, if you want to move your hand, you know, now that actually gives you all the number of, you know, so many. Now that is the Rupana. The Rupana is this trigger. I mean, for lack of a good word, I just use the word trigger. Now, because of that trigger, you get a product of Rupana. Yeah. So it's, you know, a lot of people think the form is subject to blah, 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 but that's a secondary step. But how does the form come into being in the first place? Because of this delusion in the mind. Mind is so deluded, and the deluded mind, I mean, you know, what gave you a movie? What gave you a movie to watch? When you watch a movie, what gives you know, movie to watch?
Like, like a screen, you mean, or what?
Yeah, it's a screen and light. Actually, if there was no light, you know, there's no movie, isn't it? So it's actually, I mean, when the light is gone, there's no movie, and you keep watching. Now, so when you, I mean, the Buddha gives actually the same example. This is Chalana Chitra. It's called Chalana Chitra. Chalana Chitra. I mean, you know, I think Buddha would have, you know, must have been watching movies at some point. So he gives an example of the, now this process of triggering, that is what produces a form. And when we actually watch, you know, when we look at something, we don't know how our eye is, you know, producing this form. There's a whole process. Yeah. And that process is actually discussed and described in the Madhupindika Sutta, the honey bowl sutta, where they say Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppada chakku viññāna. So even if your eye was open, the form was there, but if you were sedated, that will not bring you a picture. So Chakku Vinyana, Tinnan Sangati Passo, and the contact of the three. Pasapachya Vedana, and the sensation arises. Vedana yang Vedeti Tang Sanjana. You know, because of that sensation, you actually become interested in cognizing it. So cognizing, recognizing, and then judging, all that is the triggering process of the Rupa. Yeah? So whenever you, sorry, Julia.
I just wanted to ask when we have a break.
Oh, sorry. We will never have a break. Only when we get enlightened, you will have a break. Okay. All right. Sorry. Shall we have a break right now, and we will come back. How long do we take? Usually we take about 10 minutes. Yeah. 10. Yeah. 10, 15. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. See how deluding the Rupa was.
No, we usually have exactly this time. I just wanted to remind you.
No, thank you. No, thank you for that. Thank you. Excellent. So let's take a break and come back, say 10 minutes after. Okay. So did I share the page here? No? Did I not?
No,
No,
So
okay, okay.
which number is it?
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Which number is Bhante? Samyutta Nikaya? Huh?
Samyutta Nikaya Khandaka Vagga.
Yeah. Samyutta Nikaya 3. Let me just tell you exactly what it is.
Number 1. First Khanda Samyutta.
Yeah. It's 59. Yeah. Just look for Khanda Samyutta. Samyutta SN3. I think it may be 106 somewhere like that. So Pena Pinduvama, which is a beautiful sutta again. There is a nice analogy now. If you know, I mean this our discussion. Remember, okay. Let me just get to our discussion again. First, yeah. So the Rupa, you know, and the you know, Buddha talks about this Rupa, and then Evam, yeah, and you know, this is the discussion of Rupa. Evam me Rupang hotu, Evam me Rupang ma ahositi, Yasmachako bhikkhave Rupang Anatta, Tasma Rupang abadaya sanvattati. So basically that means, you know, you have no control over any of the rupas. Now, trying to remove rupa from you or you from rupa is a futile exercise. So don't ever try to do that. You know, I'm not looking at rupa. I'm not listening to, I'm not this, I'm not, you know, and that is, I mean, that was at the time of the Buddha. There were many faith traditions who were doing that. So abada, I mean, realization, that's what we talk about. Yatha bhuta jnana dasana is realization of the sutta rather than you taking you out of this, you know, rupa or rupa out of you. Okay. Now, nacha labbhati rupe evam me rupang hotu evam me rupang ma ahositi. So, with regard to Rupa, you have very little control or no control at all. Okay? Now, the same thing applies to Vedana. Now, 5 aggregates. You already know this. sorry. The 5 aggregates are Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Yeah. So now we have some understanding of the Rupa. What can you say about Vedana? Vedana, Anatta. Now again, don't make the mistake. Vedana is, that is Anatta. Now that's a wrong translation. And that's why the translations like feelings are impermanent or feelings are non-self are wrong translations. Yeah. And this is the problem with the Cartesian, way of looking at the world. So we got to understand that. Vedana. Now with regard to Rupa, we talk about 6 different types. With regard to Vedana, how many Vedanas are there?
At least 3.
At least 3, that's right. And all the 3 Vedanas are, what are they? Sukha.
So the like positive, happy, the negative, like dislike, and neutral.
Yeah. Neutral and negative. Yeah. So sukha, dukkha, adukha, masukha. Yeah. Now again, the sensations are anatta. Yeah, sensations are anatta. Vedanancha hidam bhikkave atta abhavisa. If the sensations or if the feelings were to be atta, naidang vedanang abadaya samvattiya. Now again, you also have no control. Abadaya here means actually you have no control over them, whether you get sukha, dukkha, or neutral. Yeah, and of course you can say we can try to make the negative positive and this and that, but ultimately you are stuck with Vedana. Yeah. Vedana chedam bhikkave atta bhavisa naidang vedanang abadaya samvatteya labbeta cha vedanaya evang me vedana hotu evang me vedana ma hositi yasmachiko bhikkave vedana anatta tasma vedana abadaya samvattati nacha labbeta vedana. Right? So with regard to Vedana, same story. With regard to Sanya, same story. With regard to Sankhara, what is Sankhara? Okay, let's now Sanya is perception. The perception is of 4 types, right? Now you have to know the Buddhist shopping list now. Sanya. What are the 4 sanyas? Nicca, Subha, Sukha, Atta. Now we actually come to this world with all the 4. Nicca is what is Nicca? Exists. permanent. Actually the word nicha means permanent, but here it means existential, exist, and sukha. So it is, pleasant. Subha, subha is, what is subha? Something to, like. Atta, self. So, you are born with these perceptions. Now, all the perceptions are, I'm afraid, wrong. This is why you just come to the world with the glass on. So the sankharas are off again. Three, and I mean, there are three main sankharas: kaya, vachi, chitta. Bodily sankhara, verbal sankhara, and chitta sankhara. So the bodily sankhara, what are the bodily sankharas? In and out breathing. Yeah. Asasa pasasa. What are the verbal sankharas?
Thought, conception.
Yeah. Vitakka vichara. Vitakka vichara. Vitakka. I'll write don't worry about these words. I will write them in our notes. Vitakka vichara. Before you... Sorry?
How can we translate sankhara?
Oh, sankharas. People actually translate differently. Some people say volitional formations. That's what Bhikkhu Bodhi uses. Volitional formations, fabrications. Thanissaro Bhikkhu translates differently. What is he translated as? Tangling, something like that. But sankra. Now since we learn Pali and Sanskrit, then sankra. Kra means actually formation, form. You make form, produce. Sankhata. And there's also a word called abhisankata. When you form a sankhara, you can actually reform it, right? Now it is like when you make a curry, you can reflavor it. What do you call it? Fry it. What is the right word, Keith? When you make a curry, dal curry, you can actually make taste it a little better. We call it you add oil and make a different dish. So reformation.
Sorry.
Yeah?
The next dal curry I make will be the first.
Yeah, of course. We would like to taste that. Yeah. You can say, nothing can go wrong with the dal curry. So, okay. Sankhara, formation. Sankhara or abhisankara. Abhi, you get a prefix. And vijnana. Now, vijnana, again, you don't have a set menu. Vijnana is of 6 different types. Can you guess what they are?
All senses plus mind.
Yeah. All 6. Yeah, 5 senses and mind. Nearly 6 senses. Yeah. Now the chakku is called chakku vijnana, sota vijnana, ghana vijnana, jivha vijnana, kaya vijnana, and mano. Yeah. Now the 5 khandhas, Mikhail, you wanted to learn 5 khandhas. It's a whole whole bunch, you know. When you look at the details.
Yeah, the most I was interested because because scholars are like wondering about the distinction between sanya and vijnana. So it's like a lot of discussion there, and in the end I got confused about it a bit. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, the vijnana, vijnana, the function of vijnana is to cognize, recognize. Sanya is that like how you give a color to it. You have no judgment. So vijnana does its own, very neutral job. Now sanya is a guy who, make it to something, right? So now, yeah, okay. Yeah, and then and so the Buddha says all five sanya bhikkhave anatta. Yeah, sankhara bhikkhave anatta and vijnanam bhikkhave anatta. There's a lot of repetition. Vijnana chedam bhikkhave atta abhavisa idam vijnanam abadaya samvatteya. Now, again, you will have control over your vijnana. But unfortunately, no. Okay. Now that is the nature of, the main gist of this, and the five things actually. Let me see if I can get a different color here. Sorry. Okay. So Rupa, and then Vedana. Sorry. Rupa, Vedana. And Sanya. Buddha gives actually different meanings to, sorry, same time. Okay. Sanya. Okay. And Sankhara. I'm short of colors here. Vijnana. Okay.
You can always you have more colors and then you can choose your own.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Now, what does the Buddha say about Rupa? He said, Pena pindu pamang rupang. Pena. It's actually, sorry, this is also H. Pena pindu pamam rupang. Form is like FOAM. Form is like form. Yeah. Form. You know what form is? Yeah. It's when the water drops, the bubbles, the form is produced. So the rupa can be, or rupa is lichen. Now don't take the concept that rupa is form again. The Buddha never says that. The Buddha says upamam. Upamam means can be lichen. Yeah. Lichen. Or like
Can you write something on the screen because we don't see anything, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Just a frozen a page. I mean, we don't see anything you write.
Oh, sorry. I have been. Huh? Oh, yeah. So you have not seen what I've been sharing, no?
Oh, yeah, we didn't see this.
Okay. Okay. Now this is what I've been. Okay, I'm taking. So now this is the Pena Pindupama Sutta where the Buddha talks about. I mean, he goes to the bank of the river Ganges, and he says, monks, do you see this foam being produced in the river? The Rupa is like this foam, is analogous, or it is likened, can be, what's the word? Is not compared to, but upama, not similar. I don't want to use the word similar. It's likened, or is it analogous? Yeah. Analogy can be likened to, no, it is like foam. Yeah. Now Vedana bula upamo. The feeling is like bubble. Yeah. It's a bubble. Bubbula. So and then he says, Sanya is like Marichi. What is Marichi?
Marichi Kupama Sanya.
Yeah, mirage. Have you seen mirage? Mirage? When you go on a sunny day on the road, like about 1 mile away, you see the water. Yeah, mirage. Marichi Kupama Sanya. Sanya is a mirage. And Sankara Kadalupama. Kadalupama. Sankar. What is Kadali? Kadali? Banana.
Kisala pa bata diyan.
Sorry?
Kisala pa bata diyan.
Yeah. So the banana trunk, not don't take the banana what you eat, trunk. Yeah, banana trunk. So what's the characteristic of banana trunk? You peel it off. Do you get a kind of a core? No. So there is no core. Banana trunk. And then Mayupamancha Vinyana. Vinyana is like a conjurer or magician. Yeah? Conjurer. One who shows magic to you. So you have been watching a lot of magic. Yeah. So the sutta says, like, a magician will never ever actually, this is not an ordinary type of magician. It is like a magician who is in the middle of a four-way street. Usually magicians perform only to the front, to the audience. They want 3 places closed, because they are hiding a lot of stuff from you. Yeah, now this is quite an interesting magician. Chattaro Mahapathe, he says, a magician who is in the middle of a four-way street, no matter where you look from, you will never catch the magician. Yeah. So, this is a beautiful stanza. Maybe Bhante can actually chant it for us. A lot of monks actually learn this by heart and then gives teachings. Yeah. Would you like to do that, Bhante?
He's not there.
He's not there. I think he's stroking the cat or something. So Pena Pindu Pamang Rupam Vedana Bubbulupamo Marichiku Pama Sanya Sankara Kadalupama Mayu Pamancha Vinyanang Desita Dhammabandhuna. Dhammabandhu is the that's another name for the Buddha. Desita. He has the Buddha actually. Buddhas describe these 5 in these terms. Yeah. Okay, Michal.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that I only now after like some time I start to get that the Anatta doctrine. I mean that because in the Hindu, in the times of the Buddha, they had the view that in a way that Vijnana is like Atman, and then the precisely Buddha comes around and says that that's not the case. And I think that's not always understood nowadays when people are people just think about the like personal self, and they think, oh, but maybe, but now after we do this it's way more clearer the message.
Oh, wonderful. That's really good, because there was this monk Sati, very famous monk called Sati. He went around saying, oh, there is this vijnana which travels around the samsara, and he went around and saying this. And monk said, no, the Buddha has never said that. And why do you perpetuate this wrong view? And then he was brought to the Buddha, and the Buddha reprimanded him. He said, have I ever said something like that, Sati? And then this is a really good conversation. What is this sutta? Is it Maha Tanha Sankaya? Sumedha, are you there? Yeah, it's one of the sutras in the.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, where the Sati is the conversation. Is it Maha Tanha Sankaya?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So where the Sati, then there is another Brahmin comes to the Buddha and says, if there is no vijnana going around, what are you talking about? And then he says, I had little faith in you, but even you lost me totally. Yeah. So this is what happened to me at the end of the Pali course. You will say, I had little faith in you, but that is even gone after your Pali, and the Buddha told him, when there is fire, can you characterize the fire? The fire that comes out of the wood, you call it wood fire. The fire that comes out oil, you call it oil fire. The fire that comes out of straws, rubbish, so each fire is characterized, in its own way. So there is no such thing called, one type of fire that, carries on. Yeah. So he gives I think there's a really good sutra again, Diganika, Pottapada. Is it Pottapada? Maybe Pottapada. So this whole idea of vijnana migrating from one life to another and going on and on, all that was diffused by the Buddha. Yeah. Okay. So we are into the last 15 minutes. Now this sutta is so really interesting, and then he gets into the most interesting part. Tanking manyata bhikkhave rupang niccang va aniccang vati. Monks, what do you think? Is the rupa nicca? People translate it as permanent, anicca as impermanent. Again, I challenge that, permanent and impermanent. So what do you think of rupa? Is it permanent or impermanent? And then now the monks have really understood what the Buddha was saying. He said, Aniccang Bhante. It's impermanent, Venerable Sir. Yang pana aniccang, that which is impermanent, dukkhang va sukhang va. Is it leading to dukkha or sukha? Now I'm going to use the Pali words now because you already know. Dukkhang bhante. Yampana aniccang dukkhang, that which is impermanent, subject to suffering. Viparinama dhammang, subject to change. Kallannutang samanupassitu. Is it appropriate? It is proper. Is it proper to call them etang mama? This is me.
I think we
Eso
don't see
hamas.
the screen.
Sorry. Oh, you don't. We can't see the screen.
I mean, we see the.
Oh, you see the row.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I always do this. Ah. Sorry. Yeah, no, I was in this one. Tanking manyata bhikkhave. Can you see it now? Yeah? Okay, sorry. Tanking manyata bhikkhave rupang niccang va aniccang vati. Aniccang bhante. Yang pana aniccang dukkhang va sukhang vati. Dukkhang bhante. Yang pana aniccang dukkhang viparinama dhammang. Kallannutang samanupassitum. Is it proper? Is it appropriate to see it as etang mama? This is me. Eso hamasmi. I am this. Eso meatta. This is myself. No hetam bhante. Yeah. And he goes on the same thing. Vedana niccang va niccang va niccang bhante. So he's very consistent, and this is so important, because tankim manyata bhikkhave rupang niccang va aniccang vati. Now that's a discussion we need to have. Is rupa nicca or anicca? And definitely now we know it is anicca, but in what sense? In what way is it? In what way is it anicca? Now, now that's a discussion we need to have. Okay, our concept of anicca. I mean, if you understand one thing, that is anicca. Anicca is the most important concept in Buddhism. If you understand that, you are enlightened. Because the Buddha actually in the Samyutta Nikaya, there is another sutta. It is called Anicca Sanya Sutta. Again, I will I'll get you Anicca Sanya. Anicca Sanya Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya. You can look it up. So there the Buddha says, if you understand anicca, you understand everything. If you don't understand anicca, you don't understand a thing. Yeah, I mean, that is how important the concept of anicca in Buddhism is. Okay, and now the homework for you is, I'm getting into the homework. Unpack the word anicca. It's a very, very simple homework. What do you mean by anicca? What is the, what's the meaning of anicca? What do you understand? And a lot of people, when we talk about anicca, we are talking about, there exists something that X, such that X is subject to disease, decay, death, and that's the kind of anicca that we are familiar with. I mean, even a lot of greatest books written on anicca. I mean, I had a professor. I'm not going to name the professor. I mean, he was trying to convince me that anicca is impermanent because something. I mean, now one thing we already know from this discussion is Rupa, the form, finally boils down to a sort of a mental object, mind object. Now, when I look at you, do I see a physical body? I mean, even if I see a physical body, if I recognize that, and then that's a worldly, lokiya anicca, lokiya, Rupa. But then I come to realize that whatever I see, I form a mental perception. Okay. Okay. Anicca Sanya Sutta is 22, 102. Okay. So, how the world, again, this comes to Lokiya and Lokuttara. The way of looking at anicca in the world is one thing. And that kind of understanding, which does not lead to any enlightenment. But you have to understand the Lokuttara way. And this is why the Buddha says, when you say, Chakkhum bhikkhave niccang va anicca, is the eye permanent or impermanent? The Buddha was not referring to this muscular eye. The Buddha was not referring to even the mental object eye. He was referring to the paticca samuppanna. Now, anicca is closely connected. It's aniccang sankatang paticca samuppanna. Kaya dhammang, vaya dhammang, viraga dhammang, nirodha dhammang. Now, if something is anicca, it is paticca samuppanna. It is dependently arisen. Yeah. So, and this is why it's so important to understand the concept of anicca in Buddhism. It's not a concept, it is a characteristic of existence. It's a real thing. And when you understand anicca, you understand everything. And this is what the Anicca Sanya Sutta says. Anicca Sanya Bhikkhave Bhavita Bahulegata Sabbang Kamaragan Sabbang Bhavaragan Sabbang Asmimanan Sabbang Avijja Pariyadiyati Samuhanti. He says, all your delusion is gone when you understand anicca. When you understand anicca in the proper way, not in the worldly lokiya way. Now, how do we understand the lokiya way? We say, oh, one person exists, and that person is subject to disease, decay, death. And they say anicca vata sankhara, and so on. But the logic is so important here. It says yada nicchan tan dukkha. If something is impermanent, that is definitely leading to dukkha. But let's say some of the changing phenomena are not necessarily leading to dukkha. a case in point is what? Now say, COVID virus, yeah? Virus is now becoming anicca. Is it leading to suffering or is it leading to happiness? Oh, everybody is now very happy. It is going. Yeah. So is that changing? If that changing is leading to happiness, and that there's something wrong with our perception of anicca. If you have a cancer, if the cancer is changing, you are happy about it. Yeah. So yada nicchan tan dukkhan, that which is impermanent is leading to suffering. And that which is suffering is of the characteristic of anatta. Yeah. So the three characteristic of existence is like kind of, three dimensions of the same prism. Three facets of the same thing. When one understands anicca, that person understands dukkha and anatta. There is no way that you understand anicca, but not the other two. So this is why the three characteristics are so, it's a trajectory of the world's existence. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think three characteristics of the existence is so important to understand. And then, in the context of Tripitaka, the Pali Canon, there is so much teaching. Okay, any question, folks, before we call it a day?
Yeah, I have one question. We're all talking about anatta and atta, but that doesn't necessarily point to my self or my atta, my soul, right? It points to the core of anything in particular, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's another aspect, like now our idea of anatta is connected to like, a particular thing. Anatta is a characteristic of existence. It's not connected to a person, a thing. Yeah. So it is this idea of atta. Atta, there is a substantial something, there. I mean, and that is the exact opposite of the paticca samuppada. Now, this is why the Buddha says it's through the realization of paticca samuppada, dependent arising, origination, that he penetrated into this wisdom of the three characteristics of existence. So they are very, very consistent with the three characteristics of existence, paticca samuppada. Yeah. Any other question, comment? So you all seem to be silently awakened.
Well,
yeah?
I was thinking of. I was thinking about how do you call it? Questions of Melinda or Melinda Pagno or something.
Yeah.
I thought it's all about this also, isn't it? About
Yeah. Yeah. Melinda Pagno talks a lot about anatta. Yeah.
Yes.
We could take. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this Nagasena and the King Milinda, they actually, ask questions, what is the nature of Atta and Anatta? How does it come into being? I mean, it's a nice conversation. And he asks, a lot of tricky questions. And the Nagasena, he answers. And there are some of that in our textbook. We could have a look.
Oh.
Yeah, next time in some of our readings. Yeah.
Lesson 3 is on it.
Correct. Yeah, lesson 3. Yeah. And those of you who did the translation, thank you. And no, I think you're getting there. What I really want is not to understand every word, all the grammar, but to be able to understand the concept, the Dhamma. And when you understand Dhamma, the language becomes easy. Yeah, peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. So that is all for today, folks. We will yeah. So just reflections on anicca, just send to me, and we will pursue, follow some of these, khandas a little bit more in detail, and how it connects to the Paticcasamuppada, etc. in our next lessons. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. So Bhante is going to actually bless us all before we go. Yeah. Are you going to do that? Yeah.
I make a wish, all of them. Okay.
Oh, please.
Especially
Thank you.
our
Yeah.
Professor Sunil Kariyakarawana and our Dhamma student.
Dhamma friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Practice Dhamma, practice more. Many blessings today. Dukkhapatthaca nidukkha bhayapattaca nibbhaya sokapattaca nisoka hontu sabbe pipanino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Oh, thank you, Bhante.
Peaceful.
That's really wonderful. And the stanza is so meaningful. Dukkhapatta, those who are suffering, may they be free from suffering. Bhayapatta, those who are in fear, may they be free from fear. Roga, dukkhapatta nidukkha, bhayapatta nibbhaya, sokapatta, those who are in sorrow, may they be free from sorrow. And may all beings be well and happy. Yeah. Now this is actually really, really important. When you see, 112 children being killed in this war in Europe, you just, these little children whose limbs are being amputated, and this is so sorrowful. So I hope, let's keep all these beings in our thoughts, and may, may we wish that all this war will come to an end very soon, so that more lives wouldn't be lost. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.